Welcome to the next video in Zapier 101. Today we'll introduce the Zapier task history. To circle back to our earlier talk about terminology, a task is the work that your Zap does. There's one task attempted for each action step in your Zap. The task history will show you all the tasks that your Zaps have tried to run. That means it includes items that have failed, items that have been filtered out, and more. The task history's purpose is to show you a running log of your tasks so you can keep track of the work you do, debug any errors, and replay any failed items. First, let's get to your task history so we can take a look. You can do that from your dashboard by clicking the Task History tab. This will show you the tasks for all of your Zaps. If you wanted to see the task for a particular Zap, you can choose that from the drop-down on the top left. One thing to know about your task history is that each item listed is for a single trigger of your Zap. That means if you have a multi-step Zap with several actions, each item might contain several individual tasks. The status dropdown allows you to filter your tasks by a particular status. Let's talk about these to help give you some insight into the types of things you'll see in your task history. The most common status you'll see is success. That means that each step in your Zap worked correctly. The next most important status is stopped. That means one or more steps in your Zap was filtered out or produced an error. We'll go over how to debug errors in a bit, but first let's talk about filtered items. An item that was stopped due to a filter means that this particular run had data that didn't pass a filter you've defined in your Zap. This is usually a good thing, but if you see an item that was filtered and you didn't expect it to be, let the support team know and they can help you figure out why. One important thing to know about the status of your task is that Zapier will always surface the worst news in the task history. That means that if 3 steps succeed and 1 fails, we'll mark the whole item as stopped even if some of it worked. That's because we always want you to know when something isn't right. You might also see your task listed as waiting. That means you've used a delay or schedule step to have that task run at a later time. Those items will process once that time comes. Knowing just these 3 statuses will cover almost all of the uses of your task history and will help you towards being a Zapier pro. Let's dive into an example task now to see what they look like. Here's a successful task that takes data from a new Google Sheet row and uses it to create a brand new contact in a MailChimp list. Each step has a Data In tab and a Data Out tab. Data In shows what was sent to that app. For your trigger, if there's a Data In tab at all, it's going to specify which data Zapier wants back. If your trigger doesn't have a Data In tab, that's okay too. For example, with Google Sheets, you can see we're telling Google which tab we want to pull rows from. Data Out, then, contains the data that app is returning to us. For Google Sheets, that's everything about the new row. Now let's look at a task that's returning an error. On a failed task, we'll highlight in red exactly which step failed and raise up an error message from the receiving app. Here, MailChimp is telling us the email that we've provided is invalid. You can see in the Data In section for that step that the email address is spelled wrong. gmail.com isn't a real domain. While we can't edit the data in this task, we can use this knowledge to help improve our workflows moving forward. We even included more resources in the notes section of this video. And if you have any questions while you're exploring your task history, just jump into support and let us know. Thanks for watching.